Hey guys, Josh here, and in this video I'll be sharing with you a few tips and tricks to level up your villages quickly in Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. If you learned something new, leave a like on the video and let's begin. So first, let's go over some basic things you should know about the villages in this game. There are 4 of them in total, which are unlocked as you progress through the main story. Each one introduces new characters, building recipes, and features. For example, in the Autumn Village, you will learn about befriending monsters, and in the Winter Village, you will learn how to fish. If you focus on the story, I think it should take most players around 10 hours to unlock the 4 villages, which then makes everything easier, so I would recommend prioritizing that at the beginning. Each village starts at level 1 and the maximum level is 10. As you make your way up there, you will unlock new contests, recipes for buildings, decor items, and new development zones will open up. The first 3 to 4 levels are so easy you will probably complete them without even trying, but after that things start slowing down, and you will see how the village menu has a list of missions to complete. If you want to reach level 10, you will have to do every single one of these missions. Some of them will ask you to complete Emma, plaque, and personal requests. That's pretty straightforward, just make sure you work on those. And then things like harvesting a lot of crops from that village, like strawberries in spring. Pretty simple, but others are more nuanced. For example, you will need to harvest up to 19 different crops in each village, yet villagers will only plant what is best suited for their village, meaning they will never plant as many different crops on their own. I talked about this briefly in my last tips and tricks video. Make sure you plant at least one of each seed in every village by yourself. But if somehow you're still missing something for that mission, here is some useful information I discovered that might help you. The game is not too clear about this and there's no way to keep track, but when they say 19 different crops, only regular crops count. If your storage is organized by type, that is everything from turnips to pineapples, these are the 19 crops that need to be harvested in each village. So this number does not include fruit trees, rice, corn, golden crops, or flowers. I spent so much time planting all of these everywhere and I was wondering why I couldn't get to 19. So don't do the same mistake. If you're missing something, focus on the regular crops, plant all of these one by one and you'll be fine. Other missions that give me a hard time were the ones asking for flowers, sometimes up to 300 of them. While you will most likely end up with hundreds of seeds for most of the crops, flower seeds are not as common. Like with other seeds, villagers will get one back upon harvesting, and then they will plant something randomly, but if you don't have enough flower seeds, it will take a very long time to complete these missions, especially since the yield for flowers is much lower than with other crops. So as soon as you can, I would recommend building a flower cart and buying all of their seeds regularly, since they only sell 3 of each kind per day. If you want, you can put multiple carts in the same village. For example, if you have 2, they will have 6 seeds per day instead of 3. And they will share the same inventory, so you won't have to go to all of them one by one, like you would if you had 1 cart per village. Of course, having 1 per village is still beneficial since it will grant you a small HP bonus. And in the end, you don't need dozens of carts, just make sure you always have a good number of seeds in your storage if you don't want to end up feeling too behind on these missions. Outside of the harvesting missions, most of them will be about building and decorating. You will be asked things like gain a 5% mining bonus, gain a 200 strength bonus, and so on, which you obtain from the buildings and decor items you've placed. Which brings me to this wonderful trick that will make that very simple. One important detail to know is that once you've completed a mission, you can remove the items and the mission will remain completed. So instead of crafting everything 4 times, once for each village, and trying to figure out what will look good all while working towards the missions, here's what you can do. You can leave a small empty area in each village, keep a bunch of buildings and decor in your storage, and whenever you feel like you want to level up your village, put everything down. It's okay if it's messy, and it's more than likely your village will be ready to level up. Each level comes with brand new missions, so you may want to level up before removing everything. But then, once you're ready, you can put everything back in your storage, move on, and do the same thing in other villages. Obviously, you won't get the stat bonuses as if you had all of these things permanently in each village, but it is a good way to quickly level them up and unlock new recipes and development zones, which will then make it easier to decorate and do whatever you want. If your goal is to optimize each village and have all of the possible bonuses, then you might be interested in taking a look at the decoration details list, which took me way too long to find. In the Villages menu, choose your village with the left and right tabs, and scroll down to Village Bonuses. On this page, press the Decoration Details button, that's X if you're on the Switch, and there you will see every single item and building, along with a check mark to let you know if it's currently in that village. Realistically, I don't think there is a need to have all of these stats even in endgame, but you could still have fun trying to complete this checklist. You may notice here at the bottom of the list how the Farmhouse gives a 10% farming bonus, which is huge and will help you get more crops faster. This building is part of the free Sakuna DLC, which you can download from Steam or the Nintendo eShop. If you have cleared the Mechanical Maze dungeon, you will see a pop-up letting you know about Sakuna, and there will be a few requests from her on the board. Don't try to craft the Farmhouse, you can't, it is in your storage by default. Place it down and Sakuna will move in. Her first request will be asking you to place the Farmhouse in the Autumn Village, but once that request is done, you can actually place her house in any of the 4 villages, and that is where Sakuna will live and you'll get the 10% farming bonus. She doesn't seem too productive, but she does a bit of farming sometimes, and she can fight alongside you in your party. Even if you don't care too much for her, I would recommend downloading the free DLC for the 10% farming bonus, which will help with some of the harvesting missions. Lastly, if you're looking for even more productivity, did you know that you could actually evict villagers? If you see one with a negative trait, such as a slacker, or maybe you're trying to find someone who can work as a blacksmith, you can click on a villager in the villagers menu and select evict. There is a warning that says once a villager is gone, you can never invite them back. That worried me initially, that's why it took me so long to figure this out. But while it's true that you won't see the same villager again, someone else will take their place. As long as you're not at full capacity, each day you will get about 1, 2, 3 new villagers, so don't be afraid to evict them until you have ones with the stats that you need. If you're wondering how you can have children villagers instead of always adults and elders, there is no secret, it is random, you just have to keep trying. Children can do the same jobs as adults, except for working at carts and restaurants. Also, make sure you always have sufficient housing, otherwise the happiness will decrease, affecting your productivity. One final thing, you might be wondering, what happens when you get all villages to level 10? Unfortunately, not too much. Each village will unlock the recipe for a new building or decor that gives a lot of stat points, and they do look pretty cool. Then, the day after reaching level 10, villagers will come to your house to congratulate you, but there's nothing really that special. So these are a few tips and tricks to help you with your villages in Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. If you want more guides for this game, feel free to have a look at this playlist. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.